then suddenly you feel that weight, and the moment it drops onto your shoulder blade, you can forget all about it.
I can only imagine the pain that Rabis Vidzis is going through here. His hands are taped up like boxers' fists, aren't they, to deal with the amount of skin he lost in that Power Stairs event. It must be incredibly sore. Jarek Dymic, though, attacking this fifth one.
And Dymic has had a stomach bug, and maybe that's why he's not been able to get this fifth one. This is going to be a real battle now for Dymic. Usually they get to that position and that's the end of it. Once that thing drops, it's so hard to carry it on. Dymic has to give it up, and I think Vidzis might as well give it up. He's still giving it a go. Well, that is a phenomenal effort from the Latvian. That is very unusual, but how much has he paid? I think he's just delighted to have done it, and Dymic, well, a fast time through four fingers, that will get him some points, but what about Vidzis taking that fifth?
Vidzis really doesn't understand the meaning of giving up. He's quite a bit smaller than most of the men here in the final, and he's overcome so many different difficulties to get here, not least his hands.
Pudzianowski can fly through these fingers. So too can the man next to him. Don Pope, the construction worker from Cleveland, wearing his lucky sunglasses again.
Take your positions.
Well, they make absolute mincemeat of that first finger, don't they? And it's Pope that's got the early jump. Now, can Don keep this going? He's got Pudzianowski on the run. You don't see this very often, and Pudzianowski is not flying. Pope is.
Well, this was the one-week event for Pudzianowski last year in the World's Strongest Man final. Couldn't do all five then, and I know he's put in a huge amount of work at home. He's got himself a full set of them back in Poland, but he's struggling with number 4.
And Pope is making short work of number 5 to take the lead, 34.17. Now, the good news for Pudzianowski is he's on that fifth finger, but it's starting to go, just like his compatriot in the last heat. This is exactly where Dymic fell, but like Vidzis, he gets it onto the shoulder and then still pushes it over. And has a reasonable time. He'll be disappointed, because he always is, if he's not in the lead. But that's not a bad time for 5 fingers, but it's nowhere near that time.
Absolutely, it's flag-waving time for the Americans. Don Pope puts in a huge performance. He's with Kaz now.
Don, you really crushed the course. How much of a statement was that?
You know, I just had some frustration built up in me from yesterday. You know, I wasn't expecting a third on the stones. I won that in my qualifier, so I was counting that as a win for me. So gave up a couple points there. So hopefully I made up a couple here. You know, it's a long race.
6 athletes left, and there are several that will hope to beat Pudzianowski's time. This final is opening up. Join us after the break for all the action.
Welcome back to Sanya, where the shock news is that Maras Pudzianowski will not finish in the top 2 places. He's now behind his countryman Sebastian Venter, who has just split 5 fingers in 39.13 seconds. The next question is, how much worse could it get for Pudzianowski? Tarmo Mitt always enjoys the Fingals fingers. But Mark Felix doesn't. Mark's technique has been found wanting in this, and this is where his lack of experience sometimes really counts against him. You've got to really lock those elbows into place to work these fingers, and Mark, with that raw power, tries to keep his arms bent. Mitt is off and running as we expected, but let's keep an eye on Mark here. Yeah, you can hear it, keep those arms stiff. He's getting through, and he's actually catching up with Tarmo Mitt. Now then, this is a better effort from Felix.
Oh, he's a super athlete, Mark Felix, but the bulk of Tarmo Mitt will help him here against the really heavy fingers. He's got to keep those arms straight, only is bending them.
There goes another one, but this is where that technique of Mark's tends to let him down. Mitt, as you can see, still ploughing away. Now, he doesn't want to be looking at what Mitt's doing, he just needs to concentrate on his own job. Good time from Tarmo Mitt, 46.15. But can Felix? No, he's in trouble. And once again, you have to look at this and say, It's technique that's let him down.
10 seconds left.
He's giving it a real go, but I don't think, no, he's not going to make that. Good effort from Mark, but once he learns to lock those elbows, he's going to really improve at this. But Miet will be happy to settle for third, and it's another push down for Pudzianowski.
Well, for the first 37 years of Mark Felix's life, he was interested in bodybuilding, and that's all about pressing it out with your arms. He needs to learn to cheat a little with these weights.
Terry Holland says he's okay again. Just had a little attack of cramp earlier. We were worried about that, what looked like a muscle problem, but he's okay. And Phil Pfister is definitely okay. Pfister once set himself the target of winning this World's Strongest Man one day. Terry Holland's target for this year is a top 5 finish. The American fireman gets the early jump. But look, just look, I mean, he's only touched that about 4 times. I mean, Pfister is making an absolute mockery of these fingers. Here's finger number 4.
And it's just as fast as the first one. He's so big, Phil Pfister. Nearly 6'7" and 160 plus kilos.
Can he beat 34.17 though? That's the question, and there's the answer. 31.92. Hollands has done a very good fingers himself. It's absolutely no disgrace to come second, and Pfister is cheering him on. That's a terrific time for Terry Hollands. That really was impressive for the big man. Look at that, 4th.
No doubt Pfister was cheering Terry Hollands on. He wants him to get in between Pudzianowski. 31.92, that's the fastest time ever in the Fingal's fingers at the World's Strongest Man. Phil Pfister picks up a world record to go with his 4 stones in the overhead.
Phil, that was an impressive performance. This event really suits you.
Staying around the sun's awful tough, though. You really got to conserve your energy here. It's really great to be able to see Don do so well, all the other guys, and close the gap a little bit on Marius there. So hopefully it's going to be a good next event as well.
Best of luck to you.
Thanks, guys.
There's a bit of an American charge on here as Pfister continues his winning streak and Don Pope forces his way into third. The big shock, though, is that Pudzianowski isn't even in the top 5. When was the last time that happened? Just 2.5 points separate Pfister and Pudzianowski at the top, and there's no doubt that the American believes he can catch the reigning champion. Terry Holland seems to have got things back on track with that performance. His aim to finish in the top 5 looks possible.
Now, if you thought waiting for a bus was hard enough, imagine having to pull one of these things in 100 degrees heat. Yep, you've guessed it, it's time for one of the all-time classic World's Strongest Man events. Kaz, it's getting exciting at the top of that leaderboard. Phil Pfister, 2 wins on the bounce. He's the man in form, but he's a tall man. Is that going to be a problem for him on this event?
Well, with the look of determination on his face when he completed all 4 of the stones and was the only one to do that, that was an incredible feat. And he flipped the 5 fingers. He was ferocious at the time. Now to go 3 in a row, I think he's ready. His height could be an advantage as long as he stays low and pulls hard and takes the pain.
Well, top tips from Kaz there. If you're ever thinking of doing one of these yourselves, the athletes are ready. Time to see how they get on.
So far, Martin, they're not getting on very well at all. Nobody's completed the course. They've all really struggled. Tarmo Miet could only manage 11 meters. The very experienced Jarek Dymek didn't fare much better, despite encouragement from Marius. He pulled for 11.25. Don Pope did a little better with a distance of 11.6. And leading the way at the moment is Grenada's Mark Felix, 13.1 meters. So that's the standings at the moment. 7 gone. None have threatened the finish line. Just 3 left to try and pull this bus. Well, now it's Terry Holland's turn to give it a go, and it does seem that this bus that just seemed to come from nowhere really has upset these athletes. They weren't expecting this bus. This just turned up on the day. It's not the bus they trained on and practiced with. And there are 2 very small inclines on this course, and if you don't get speed on the pull, those inclines will just destroy your challenge, and that's what's happened to the 7 other guys. Terry Hollands has had the advantage of looking at what's happened, but can he learn anything from what's happened?